There's a number of ways how we can change the way we feel, change our state to find more focus, be more productive, and perform like rock stars. And this show is about talking several of them. One that I've personally been overlooking for many years is the power of smell, which is why in the first official interview of the Peaceful Productivity Techniques podcast, I have the pleasure to invite Sinead here, who's a specialist in how you can use this sense, which is different from all your other senses, in order to boost your productivity, be more focused, feel more relaxed, very, very efficiently. I hope you'll enjoy it. And as usual, let's rock. Welcome to the Peaceful Productivity Techniques show. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Sinead here. Sinead is a mindfulness and let me not mess that up. Mindfulness and essential oils consciousness coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Arnaud.
Well, that's my pleasure, especially when you pronounce my name this way. It makes me feel like back home. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the kind of work that you do with people for the listeners who might not be aware of what you do?
Yes. So yeah, essential oils consciousness coach is not something you hear a lot, but my background, I guess, is mindfulness and meditation. I've been doing that now for over 30 years. But it just happened that when I went to do my yoga teacher training in India 20 years ago, I brought some essential oils with me, and it was for medication, not meditation. It was for self-care, simple physical self-care. But while I was there in doing Vipassana, which is a very deep meditative practice, you do 10 and a half hours seated meditation a day for 10 days, pretty deep. So there I could feel how how smell, fragrance immediately connects with the subconscious mind. And we know the subconscious mind is everything. So that's why for me, I've ever since then been practicing and using meditation, using any techniques that require to have control of your mind, to have connection with subconscious, to plant goals, to plant whatever you want to plant to come to fruition, that you use fragrance. And it's completely transformative, and it's been known forever throughout history. It's been valued in every tradition up to ours. Unfortunately, so it's my job to bring it back.
It's your job to bring it back. Yeah, thank you for that. And does it like, what can you do with those essential oils and those scents and those fragrances? Like, because the people who listen to this podcast are entrepreneurs who want to grow their business by being more focused and productive. So is there any way that they could use it for that purpose?
Of course, I'm an entrepreneur myself also. So I also have a range of oils, which I have here, which I launched about 10 years ago. So I also have my own business. So I know exactly how it is to be an entrepreneur at the same time. So how I use them is really for focus. It's exactly that, for focus and goal setting, and for calming myself down, and different oils do different things. But really, it's more just about, first of all, valuing it. First of all, realizing that it has this power.
Right.
Some people know that it has this power. All traditional cultures knew. Now some, marketers know, and they're trying to use it for marketing to influence buyer behavior. But, for us, we can use it for our focus. So how you would use it practically is different oils do different things. Like, for example, it was tradition in Roman times. Roman students used to wear rosemary garlands around their heads for three reasons. It helped focus. It helped memory, and then it helped retention of information when you had to reproduce that information later.
Oh.
So rosemary has that power. So, people use it now in sort of, cliches or like aphorisms. People say, oh yeah, rosemary for remembrance. A lot of people say that to me, and I'm like, yeah, do you know what that means? Do you know how important that is and how we can use it? Because, most people's memory and focus now is it's like a lost art, you know, but traditional society have known that herbs, and I like to use them. I call them herbs, you know, but it's really good to use them in essential oils, because essential oils are extremely potent, powerful, condensed. They're just they're a very strong way to use herbs. And the way it goes in is you just smell. So it's olfaction. So you put it on and you smell it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has an immediate impact. One of the things that makes smell different from all the other senses is that all the other four senses are filtered. So they go through the thinking mind. Smell is the only one that has direct access to the subconscious mind, which is why it's always been used in meditation and mindfulness and calming. But you can see how that's also really useful for focusing on a goal, particularly a goal that the thinking mind is going, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, the thinking mind is often the thing that stops you, because all these self-limiting beliefs are often up here. So if you can directly plant with the subconscious mind, then, you know, it's like a backstage pass, basically.
Right,
to the subconscious mind.
Are you familiar with Mike Mendel, the hypnotist from Toronto?
No.
So that's the first place where I heard the concept that you just shared, that all the other senses, they go through some filter, but like the sense of smell is like the shortcut. It goes directly into the subconscious. Why is that? Why does the sense of smell is different than the others?
Okay, so it's an evolutionary story. So the way when we evolved, the sense of smell was the first sense to develop, and in utero they say it's the same, because in utero we kind of mimic the evolution, which is why we have gills at some point in evolution, in utero. So it was the first sense that was developed, and it was the strongest sense. At one point in our evolution, we know that the brain was made up of over 50% smell receptors.
Mm-hmm.
Like the brain was entirely a smelling machine.
Okay.
So we didn't need, and then we continued to evolve, and as we like when we became bipeds, then our vision really, you know, came on to, we could see the horizon. So all the other senses were, you know, were important and were added on, but it's just kind of brain geography that these were all added on, and now we live in a very audio visual age, where those two are most highly rated, and smell not so much. But smell has never lost its primary position. Because it's so old. And you know it's so old because the sense of smell is pre-rational. It's before we had rationality. It's pre-temporal, which is so powerful. So pre-temporal means we had it before we had a sense of time.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool, right?
That's pretty dope, yeah.
It's so cool. And for me, it's really cool because I love working in deep consciousness. And we know, like Einstein has told us, that time and space aren't real. So we know that, but how do you live it? How do you feel it? The easiest way to appreciate that is through your sense of smell, because it pulls you out of your linear mind, because it's pre-temporal. So it has great impact on manifesting and on goal achievement, basically. So yeah, and on time management also, because, you know, when you work in linear time, you know, there's never enough of it, and and you have, of course, you have to work in linear time to get shit done. But when you want to, you know, when you're stressed or when you feel overwhelmed, you can entirely recalibrate your energy and bring back your focus in an instant. When you pull yourself out of linear time, you can totally recalibrate your energy. So that's pretty funky.
That's funky. That's funky indeed. So you have this line of products that are behind you. Do you also work with people one-on-one or in groups, or do you have other way that people can get in touch with the power of smell through working with you?
Yeah, so it's mostly group work I do at the moment. Mostly group work. So yeah, I teach groups a lot around goals. But I also have some online training. I've launched my first course, which is smell is your superpower. So, and yeah, and I was teaching last weekend, and actually somebody asked me, why is smell not rated? And I have my ideas about smell, why smell is not rated, because we live in a very rational age, and the pre-rational is not rated. But I
Right.
had a bit of a realization this weekend, which is, I think the reason that smell is not rated is because it's so close to consciousness, and so it's just too close to perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so that's just something I kind of had a realization of this weekend. So yeah, I have my first online course, Smell is Your Superpower, which yeah, I recommend checking out, because my view on goals is quite different also, because it's not also non-linear. So non-linear goals are another interesting concept, but that, yeah, it's that I invite you to explore. It's yeah, non-linearity as a thing. Again, it's just pulling us out of time, and it's about it's really more in the line of manifesting, and the yoga concept of sankalpa, which is a goal, but a non-linear goal, and it's where you can move very quickly because it's non-linear, but
Mm-hmm.
it is deeper work, but it can be instant, and smell helps because
Helps.
it's just so trancy. So
Okay.
so that's my first course, and then I do group courses also, and also I'm doing more. I'm about to launch another a 5-day workshop online. So I'm getting more and more into the online stuff. I've mostly been doing in-person
In
stuff,
person.
always group, but I'm going to launch more online group, but not like the one that the Smell is Your Superpower is already, if you buy it, it's already created. But I love creating in the moment with people, so I'm going to do some more online group
All
work.
right, so more customized work with depending on
Mm.
various people's need. Okay,
Yeah.
and we'll put link to all of this in the show notes and in the YouTube video description.
Mm.
So before people work with you or get your product, are there something that they can do with things that they have at home to use the power of smell?
Yeah.
Using, I don't know, flowers or some. I mean, you tell me, you're the specialist. So are there some things that we can do at home already to improve our lives through the power of smell?
Yes, 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 for sure. I mean, the first thing is just to value it, and just to be aware that it does matter, that we take in a huge amount of information from smelling all the time. So just to sort of try to find yourself valuing it more. Smelling flowers, yes, absolutely. That's absolutely beautiful. But for me, these guys are just so potent. The essential oils are just so
Delicious.
potent that is the way I like to go. You can diffuse, but I prefer topical application. I prefer to put on the skin, because then you get the benefits of olfaction, which is to take in
Mm-hmm.
immediately to the brain, but also into the bloodstream, and
Uh-huh.
also the skin stuff as well, which people usually really need. Everybody's usually very dry skinned, so I like people getting oil on their skins. It lubricates the day, I feel.
Right.
So how to practically do it? I mean, have a think about what your primary well-being goal is.
Mm.
That's really what I did with Yoganda, which is my range of oils. I was making them up kind of ad hoc for my yoga students, because I was teaching yoga and consciousness and mindfulness and all these things. And but then they said, look, could you make them up so that we could really buy them, because I was too slow making them here and there and all that. So I spent 3 years sitting, trying to hold the goal, the sankalpa, the intention of my yoga students, and blending. So I did that, but I can tell you what the oils are also. So the oils, if you want to ground, if you know stress is your issue, you want to ground. And the thing is, what I love to invite you in is, you almost feel it yourself. What do you think? It's going to be the heavy stuff, like the resins. It's going to be frankincense and myrrh, cedar wood, vetiver, sure, lavender. Everybody knows lavender, but for me, it's the heavy guys that really, really calm you if you really need calming.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you need if you need more up, if you're like a little bit down, a little bit sluggish, a little bit slow to get shit moving, then it might be a more uppy one. So you can kind of feel which the uppy ones are. It's like the mints and the citruses, all these happy little guys, you know, so you have all this wisdom inside you already. So really what I love to do is to draw that out of you or to reconnect you with it, because you already have it. And then as soon as you start smelling, the consciousness that comes in is unbelievable, because it's not a learning, it's an unlocking. It's just I got all this, you know, at one point I was over 50% smell receptors, you know, you've got it all inside you. And it's really about unlocking that. So feel into it, smell into it, and have a think about your goal. And what I love people to do is I've created something called a fragrammation, which is combining fragrance with affirmation, because it's such a powerful combination. It's just absolutely, because you can actually feel what happens is, so you kind of think, right, what is my goal? What is my intention? What do I want? What do I want to do here? And you get an idea of that. Then you feel into, you know, what is the oil or the herb that might be most aligned with that. And I can give you guidance on that, but also feel in yourself of what you think might be the one, and have a smell. If you have essential oils at home, have a smell and feel like, well, this one feels relaxing and I need relaxing, or this one feels like it's going to help me get me up in the morning and that's what I need, or this one feels like it's going to help me complete something or get something over the line. Try to feel into that. I can of course guide on that, but I love people to feel into it also. And then align the intention with the oil, and then try to get a little affirmation down. So affirmations are always more mundane, more of this world, you know, than the intention, which might be quite big. The affirmation is quite, it's in words already, so it's already quite, you know, quite structured. But that's, so it's smaller in energy, but that's fine.
Could you give an example, like, of the difference between an intention and an affirmation?
Yeah, so an intention could be something around self-love, or it could be something around, it could be something like, for an entrepreneurship, it could be something around sales, it could be around manifesting shed loads of money, you know, it could be, that could be your intention. So, and your intention, how you know, so if your intention is to say to be paying yourself enough, it's nice to have it energetic, so you don't want to put the real numbers up at that level, because numbers don't usually create joy, and they're not super energetic at this point. So there we try to infuse that with the kind of energy of what you want. In other words, your fabulous holidays, your whatever, you know, all that stuff.
So not the money, but what will the money bring you, like the new house, the holiday,
and then, but then when we get down to the affirmation level, that's when it's much more mundane, as in, of this earth, it's very brass tacks. That's when the numbers come in. That's like this, at that level, there has to be numbers, dates, you know, proper accountability stuff in there. But how you keep this mundane level high vibe is with the oils, because the oils keep it energetic. And you, I mean, you'll feel this yourself. And I had an incredible experience of this, of my intention was very physical, very, and it's around straightening of my spine, because I have an S in my spine, so it's around straightening my spine. So that was my intention. I created a fragrammation with it, and I aligned it with my oil ground, which has got frankincense, sandalwood, and myrrh. It's got a lot of trees, and trees really embody verticality, which is what I wanted. So verticality is great for getting anything, you know, getting from one place to another place, or physical alignment, or anything that has to do with alignment. Trees are great for that. So I was working with fragrammation, and then when I was out and about, you know, doing something that was totally mindless, you know, just chatting, you know, I think I was, you know, I was kind of talking, chatting about children, you know, not Zen mama, you know, I was just like being normal. But as I did that, I just did this, and I got a waft of the fragrance. And as I was literally, all my front brain was going forward and was living in this world and was chatting at my children, while I just smelt that, and my whole spine just went, my back brain was like, or my subconscious was like, she's busy doing her busy work. Let's do the stuff that we know needs to be done, because she's down to the deepest. And just the smell was like, from the smell, because that's just what directly connects with subconscious mind. So Yeah, it just works on that level. And it almost feels like I caught myself. I've caught that happening. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like I have this magic genie or assistant in the back who's helping me and even helping me, especially when I'm busy, when
Yeah,
when
I was
I'm
gonna
busy.
say it's incredible that you managed to be aware of that, because
Yeah,
it looks like it's like a subconscious process that's taking
yeah,
place.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I have a question. What is your view on the fragrance scene? Like all those the perfume that one can buy, and all the Hugo Bosses and stuff like that. Because since smell is such a powerful tool, and I think most people, they buy, and me included, they buy fragrances because it smells nice. I mean, that's at least that's the rationalized reason why we do this.
Yeah.
Um, so what are your thoughts on that? Is that like a dangerous industry? Should it be more regulated, or what should people think about what before
Yeah.
buying a fragrance, let's say?
I don't think it's dangerous as such, but I do think it's a missed opportunity, because smell is so important to us, and it affects our mood so instantly, and it's so informative. Like the jasmines and the sandalwoods are so informative to our bodies in terms of consciousness, hormonal balancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so when we spray something that is synthetically created
Mm-hmm.
jasmine, the body's not buying it. It's a different compound. The body does not perceive it as jasmine. It's
Mm-hmm.
totally different molecularly.
Mm-hmm.
So it may smell like jasmine, and they've got really, really good at synthetically creating so that in the top level of consciousness, it smells like jasmine, but the body just doesn't recognize it. It's a totally different thing. And jasmine is an incredibly potent and powerful flower, very hormonally balancing, strong aphrodisiac. I mean, even just for that, it's a proper aphrodisiac, and people are going around with this fake shit that's not an aphrodisiac. I mean, sure, you might like it, but it's not the same. It doesn't have this deep immune boosting and calming, all these benefits that the oils have.
Right.
And the oils just have so many benefits. It's insane how many benefits they have, because they have this beautiful power of it's called multi-target compounds. The molecular structure means that they can be taken in by loads of different cell receptors in the body. So the organs and at every level, like mind, body, spirit, will put that oil to work, and it will work on every level. But the synthetic shit just isn't going to do that.
Right.
So it's a missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity.
And yeah, but I mean, having said that, I understand that people are absolutely passionate about wearing artificial perfumes. And so what I like to do is to suggest that, okay, put the good stuff on, which is because like mine, I often get the little ones. People say, can I use it as a perfume? And I say, yeah, of course, this one's full of jasmine. Why would you not? But the fact is, it smells incredible. It smells absolutely beautiful because, of course, it's jasmine and loads of other things. But it doesn't. You can't smell it like 4 hours later, and people get kind of pissed off with that because they want to. They say, does it last?
Yeah.
Which means, does it stay on the skin? And the point of these is that it goes in the bloodstream and it doesn't have any artificial fixatives. So no, yes, it lasts. Myrrh will be in your system for 48 hours, but you won't smell it. So what I like people to say is put it on wherever. And then if you want to, your guilty little pleasure, go for that as well.
Okay. And what about men? Because like men, scent associated with men, like men fragrances. I mean, I don't wear a lot of jasmine personally. So do you have like?
Good man, you should. That's what Shiva wore. Have you ever seen the dancing Shiva?
Yeah.
The white garland. That's what Shiva wears, because it's very yin yang. So it's and you know what? It's called I couldn't believe this when I was doing my aromatherapy diploma. Jasmine is called the king of oils. And I was like, what? It's so feminine, it's so female, it's so but it's called the king of oils. And it's because it's king of oils and a girl's name. It's totally yin yang, it's totally male female, which is why it's such an aphrodisiac, because it's the balance. So check it out, try it, man.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll give it a try. Okay, so this show is called Peaceful Productivity Techniques, and I think we're right on points because with the power of smell and the fragrances and the essential oils that you've created or gathered, or can really, I believe, help people do that. Do you have another tip that you use on a regular basis to make sure that you're peacefully productive? Something that
Sure.
people could apply.
Yeah. Well, along with smell, my second passion really is time, the whole concept of time and linearity, non-linearity, and how we can play with that. So what I like to do is I am a big fan of the Pomodoro technique, you know, the setting time boundaries. So I am a big fan of that. So, you know, I like to work so I like to maintain some awareness of the non-linearity of time, because that's how you can get things done much more quickly than the linear mind can appreciate.
Right.
But I set capsules of time with my little Pomodoro. I have a lovely little.
Oh, you have a physical one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a chicken. He's amazing.
Chicken. Okay.
He's so cool. So yeah, no, I love him. And then so I work in capsules of time. And then when that time is over, I absolutely am, you know, so strict with myself to get up, move around, just get blood moving and to smell before I sit down again. So before I sit down again, just to set my intention, I'm like, okay, what's happening now? It's pretty much always that I need focus. So it might just be, so with my 3 roll-ons, basically one is an up, one is a down, and one is a balance. So I'll just check in with what do I need, and usually it's either for work, it's either an up or a down. So if it's often an up, so it's the one with the rosemary, the one that the Roman students were using of like getting focused, getting this done by the next time the chicken goes. Does his thing. So yeah, that's
okay, cool. Yeah,
what I recommend.
I use Pomodoro as well, and I recommend it to all my clients. Do you go 25/5, or which time works for best for you?
I usually do about like 40 minutes is my max, but I usually look at the thing and I kind of estimate I never start anything without estimating a time. So whatever the task is, so I don't really say like it's always 25 minutes. I say this is the task. How long do I anticipate this task will take?
Okay.
Because that's also a great thing. And then I learned a great one. If there's one kind of task that you always underestimate, you shouldn't be doing that task. If you get your alignment of I think it's going to take me about 40 minutes to do this, and you do it in about 40 minutes, then that's good. That works. Keep doing that. But if you always underestimate, then it's like, you know, that task is probably not in your what they call wheelhouse. Yeah. You should probably get rid of that task. So I like that a lot. So I always anticipate, like it's almost like, you know, a wager or something, like, okay, how long is this going to take? Especially when as an entrepreneur, you got to do so many different things, and some you're going to be good at, some you're going to be shit at, right? So yeah. If you always underestimate, if your guessing is always wrong in how long you think, apparently you're supposed to offload that one.
I really like it. I really like this way of using, like adapting Pomodoro depending on the next task, and also using your efficiency on the task as not like a way to self-beating, or oh no, I didn't do it, but as an indicator that, hey, maybe, you know, this task is not in my zone of genius. Maybe I can delegate it or not doing it. That's really, really clever. Thank you for sharing that. So where can people find more info about you, your work around time, the group coaching, the fragrances, the oils? Where can they find more information about you online?
Yeah, so 2 places really. The oils are on yoganda.com, so we should put a link to that because it's a difficult one to spell. It comes from Sanskrit. Ganda means the use of fragrance for deeper work, you know, for consciousness work. So I put yoga with Ganda together to make Yoganda. So yoganda.com is where the oils are, the physical products, and then for the course I have at the moment is Smell is Your Superpower. So that is at smellisyoursuperpower.com. Amazingly available.
Nice. Yeah. Congrats on the nice URL for a nice product. And do you ship internationally?
Of course, yes,
Okay,
everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So we've reached the end of our episode. I want to give you space if there's anything that you want to share with the world and that we haven't covered. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Really, what matters to me, I mean, my area of passion is consciousness, and what my dharma, what my role in this world is to do is to teach people about how smell is just such an easy way to work in deeper consciousness, to work with the subconscious, to work in a more aligned way. And also, that's one part of it. There's also so much more intelligence and beauty that we get when we work with essential oils. Just that we do take in the consciousness of nature. We take the consciousness of that's well beyond human consciousness. So yeah, smell is my passion, and for people to use it, particularly around goal setting and around working with self-limiting beliefs, and with keeping you on track. Because honestly, we know the trees are huge. They're so communicative in nature. They just communicate all the time. We know that. They're also very communitarian in nature. Some of the chemicals that they emit are not for their own end. They're for the end of their community. So they, if when you work with them and when you kind of tell them what your dreams and goals are, you feel them carrying you there. They get right into the subconscious mind, and they just help you along. So yeah, it's just it makes life easier and more beautiful and more fragrant. And when you smell them, also, then when you meet people, when you hug them, they smell you and they just get so happy, and then they love you more. So that's really what it's all about.
That's beautiful, Sinead. Well, thanks again for being my guest here in the Peaceful Productivity Technique show. And all guys listening and watching, all the links are below in the description or in the show notes. So be sure to check Sinead's products and services. And as usual, peace.